Hello folks, welcome to Cybersecurity Awareness TV, episode number 367, recorded September 18th, 2021. I'm here today with my co-host, Sonia Petkewich. How you doing, Sonia?
I'm great. How are you?
It's been a while,
It's
huh?
been a minute.
Yes, it has. That's why we've been doing Zoom videos for a year and a half during the pandemic, and we're glad we were able to get you back in the studio. People have been asking about you and getting emails going, where's your co-host at? Like, what about me? Oh, we'll talk to your co-host, Sonia.
It's been a long period of time.
It has been. It has been. It has been. Yeah. So we're going to talk about some really interesting videos in our segments today and what's going on in cyber news, and get your opinions, and we can go back and forth and see what you think about them.
Yeah, sounds great.
Sounds good. Well, folks, I wanted to thank everyone to being part of our Cybersecurity Awareness TV, and those from you around the world have been part of our show and listeners. And we have an action-packed show for you today. Remember, this is Cybersecurity Awareness TV, and you can find out more about my company and my show at MacJacksonJr.com. That's MacJacksonJr.com. Or you can call me at 702-868-0808. And folks, as always, remember to share, like, and subscribe to Cybersecurity Awareness Television. In today's episode, in Cyber News, we have some videos for you today and some discussions regarding mobile payment scams, dealing with Zelle and Bank of America and other forms of online payments like PayPal, Cash Apps, and the others. It's really, really informative information that we'd like to share with you guys. In our second segment, we're going to talk about something very scary called deep fake video scams. Deep fake videos, folks. If you don't know what those are, definitely stay tuned. And of course, we're always in our segment with our weekly cybersecurity tips, what you can do to protect yourself from cyber scams and hackers that are out there trying to get your information. But first, we're going to talk about web mobile payment scams. Cyber criminals are always looking for ways to get your information, your data. They're being very brazen right now by using a form of cyber attack called vishing. It's spelled V with a V, like fishing, but now it's called vishing. You know, there's always something. They always create something. What this means, folks, is hackers are looking at ways to use texting and phones to get your information.
Yeah.
So, yeah, have you heard about that?
Well, only recently in our conversations, but it seems like no matter what is out there, the bad guys are always going to try to circumvent it.
Always. And it's so crazy, Sonia. These bad guys, what they'll do is they will use emails to try to victimize the victims, right?
Yeah.
And if that doesn't work, they will also use texting from the phone, because they'll get their phone numbers as well from their hacking attacks. And then they'll be brazen enough to do the phone calls where they'll call in. You'll see some in these videos. There are people who will call in and have the same banker hold music on that looks very legitimate, right?
Yeah.
Like their customer service, trying to get the victims to give them information about their online bank payments. Just speaking of these bank payments, you know, when you want to pay someone now, you can pay them rather than just giving them cash. You can use your phone, right? Send them an email and transfer money back and forth, right? That's what's used with these type of accounts, and we'll be able to see that. And we'll check this out, folks, with this clip right here.
They were tricked into sending Zelle payments to their own accounts, but that money somehow ended up in the hands of scammers instead. The complex scheme starts with a text and then a phone call. It's a phone and voice phishing scam known as vishing.
It's really distressing.
Nasheen Brooks was out $3,500.
You save your hard-earned money to just be taken away from you.
She received this text saying it was her bank, Bank of America, verifying a purchase. When she answered no, she got a call from someone saying they were a Bank of America representative and they were asking questions that made it all sound so real. Then Brooks was told there was a $3,500 Zelle withdrawal from her Bank of America account, which was pending, and all she had to do was transfer the money back to herself through Zelle to reverse it. When she sent herself the $3,500 through Zelle, the money disappeared. If you sent the Zelle to your own email and your own number, how did it get to the scammer?
That's where I'm lost for words.
And look at this. Even though the transaction has her information, another strange name appeared underneath, making it look like someone took over her Zelle account.
Hey, be really aware.
The same scam happened to Darlene Chelsea. She lost $3,500 to scammers after sending the money to herself through Zelle on Bank of America's app.
I sent it to myself nobody should be able to get it but me. But clearly it didn't go to me.
Chelsea says the incoming phone number was made to look like a real Bank of America phone number, and she says the fraudsters even used the same hold music as Bank of America. But it wasn't the bank.
These attackers gain trust, the victim's trust.
Cybersecurity experts at Bitdefender say the scammers are impersonating the banks with texts and phone numbers by using spoofing technology. Experts say the attackers may have already had the victim's information by studying their social media, and they may have sign-in info through software which hackers use to hunt for passwords and usernames.
They definitely had access to the account if the money was wired to herself. The theft itself is simple, right? There are very few steps that the attacker needs to do to transfer the money out.
Brooks says she was fooled into handing over authentication codes from her texts, which may have allowed scammers access to the account on a new device. Chelsea says she never gave the callers those codes.
Why are you asking me for that? And that is when the call dropped and it was gone. And so was the money.
The I-Team contacted both Zelle and Bank of America, which sent us a statement saying we remind clients that they should not provide confidential account information to unidentified individuals. Bank of America and other legitimate companies would not ask for sensitive account information such as passcodes or authentication codes. We have a number of measures in place to proactively warn clients about scams, and we periodically reach out to customers with information about how to stay safe and avoid scams. Bank of America, which is a partial owner of Zelle, looked into both claims and credited both Chelsea and Brooks that $3,500.
I was lucky and blessed enough that, I had you guys to help me with this.
If you get a call like that, hang up and call your real bank's number listed on its website or your debit card. Security experts also say you should never use the same password. For example, if your email password is compromised and it's the same as your bank, scammers can then get into your bank account. More tips on our website, abc7chicago.com.
Amazing, folks. Amazing how people try to use the mobile payment systems to try to get to people and get their information. Isn't that crazy, Sonia?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's just like I said before, it's happening so much.
Right.
I was sharing with you that while we were on a vacation, we received a phone call. My husband received a phone call from American Express wanting to verify account because they thought there was fraud, and so they wanted pieces of information.
Right.
And I was off on the side saying, like, don't do it, like in slow-mo, and he was like shooing me away, and it took a little bit of an argument for me to say that is probably not. You should hang up and call Amex on the back of your card. And sure enough, it was from the gas station that we had been in. They had captured some information and they just needed a few pieces. And they had texted us too. Ben hadn't seen the text, so thankfully he hung up the phone before he provided any information. And when he called American Express, he got put to the fraud. And then they're like, "Thank God, Mr. Petkewich, you did not do what it was that they were asking to do," because they would have just had access. And we were going off camping, so we would have been in the woods. We wouldn't have even known for a few days.
And that's all it takes, just a few seconds. Wow. Yeah, like we talked about before, folks, on the show, and Sonia's been with me too in the past, we've talked about this. Hackers are trying to get your information, and think of it, your personal identifiable information, like a jigsaw puzzle, right? You got little bits and pieces, and they try over time to build up your puzzle of your personal profile, and then it'll take that information and go in the dark net and try to sell it.
Yeah, and unfortunately for all of these systems and things, we use the same. We use our email, we use our phone number, we use our social, and passwords, right? And a lot of times passwords people aren't smart about like mixing them up or using a tool like LastPass to just auto-generate them. So if they get one piece or two and we give them the other two, it's so easy to just be tricked into it.
Absolutely. And yes, and Sonia and I will be talking about that in our third segment, of the things that you could do to protect yourself from those types of hack attacks. So the moral of that part of the story, folks, is to be careful when you're using your mobile payment apps. And if someone were to call you saying they're representing themselves from a bank, the bank should more likely use a form of multi-factor authentication to verify that they are you. They'll send you a code to verify you with your email or your phone. If the person on the line refuses to do that, just hang up and call your bank and let your bank know about this, because banks are on top of all this as well, and they are every day trying to make sure they have these precautions set within their systems. All right. So in our next segment, we're going to talk about deep fake videos, folks. Stand by. You don't want to miss that.
Imagine if you could save animals and money just by shopping. Well, at Hearts Alive Village, you can. Yep, that's right. Our prices cannot be beaten, and as a 501c3 animal rescue, you don't pay any sales tax. You'll also be helping so many animals begin their new lives. So next time you're looking for that special outfit, or just your everyday pet supplies, come visit our friendly store manager at Hearts Alive Village. And we thank you, because the more you do this, the more we can do this. And you never know, while you're here, you might just fall in love. Hey Daisy, we're still filming. That's better. Hearts Alive Village Adoption Center. Find us on Rainbow and Oakey.
Hi, folks. Welcome back to Technology Review. I'm here with my host, Sonia Petkewich. How you doing?
I'm good.
Great. Hey, in this episode, in this segment, we're going to be talking about deep fake videos. And folks, if you haven't heard about deep fake videos, you are going to be very, very surprised at these. These are videos, folks, that you think are real, but they are fake, meaning that the bad guys, or even sometimes good guys, but it can be used for good things as well. They have taken the face of an individual and they have kind of like photoshopped it onto the actor, and the face mimics the actual hand gestures and movements, and you'd think that that's a person actually performing the act, and it's not at all. Some of the areas of deep fakes have been used in Star Wars. They brought back a couple of the characters that are no longer here with us anymore, and they put them in the movie, right?
Yes.
And which was really, really cool to see that.
Right.
But now that same technology, bad guys are able to use it. And of course, folks, it has exploded in the industry of porn. Yes, folks, porn. Using celebrities to be a part of this. And it's been pretty crazy where you take the photo of someone, the picture of someone, and they put it into these fake videos. How it's done? They would scan and analyze hundreds of different videos that were previously done by the individual.
Right.
Right. Then the AI software will take the image and stick it onto a actor.
Right.
And match the hand gestures with it. Isn't that crazy?
It is. I mean, when you think about it, it's like you can't do anything now because everything will be used against you, right? In some form or fashion, right? Revenge porn or whatever it is.
Yes, absolutely. Cyberbullying, revenge porn, all of these are different.
And it's not just
sites.
Celebrities, right?
Right, individuals as well have been part of this. There is a video we'd like to have you guys take a look at to see how this type of technology is being used for the bad and good. You'll be very, very surprised. Roll this clip.
Deepfakes have started to appear everywhere. From viral celebrity face swaps to impersonations of political leaders, it can be hard to spot the difference now between real and fake.
We're entering an era in which our enemies can make it look like anyone is saying anything at any point in time.
And the digital impressions are starting to have real financial repercussions. In the US, an audio deepfake of a CEO reportedly scammed one company out of $10 million. In the UK, an energy firm was tricked into a fraudulent transfer of 220,000 euros. And with the 2020 election not far off, there's huge potential for weaponizing deepfakes on social media. Now, tech giants like Google, Twitter, Facebook, and Microsoft are stepping up. With Facebook spending more than $10 million to fight deepfakes, what's at stake for businesses, and what's being done to detect and regulate them?
Can't you see?
One of the most well-known deepfake creators is Dr. Fakenstein, or Jeff White. He walked us through the process.
So let's say we've got source footage of Trump.
I am concerned. I wouldn't want to see a violent crackdown.
And I'll have my destination footage is the Little Rascals. So this column here is Trump's face over the Little Rascals.
Essentially, a deepfake is an AI-generated video or audio clip of a real person doing and saying fictional things. A computer uses its deep neural network, hence the term deepfake, to learn the movements or sounds of two different recordings and combine them in a realistic way. And there's an emerging market for creators of deepfakes.
I've had hundreds of work requests since I put out some of my videos. Most people just want to have a laugh and be entertained by it.
White creates videos for Jimmy Kimmel Live.
Ladies and gentlemen, all rise for Brooklyn Heights.
And next month, he's quitting his day job at a dairy farm to create deepfakes full-time. A handful of well-known creators like him use it solely for satire. It can be used for more publicly available fun too, like with Berkeley's Everybody Dance Now project. The technology is nothing new. It's part of how major Hollywood studios include actors in critical roles after they've died.
Lord Vader will handle the fleet.
It helps gaming companies let players control their favorite athletes. What is new, the process has become cheaper and easier.
Towards the beginning of 2018, then a couple of important projects, one of them was known as FakeApp, the other was known as FaceSwap, became readily available. And in the last year and a half, the pace of innovation around the creation of deepfakes has accelerated quite a bit.
And you can just go online, you can find these tools, download them. All I have to do to create a deepfake at this point in time is to click 10 times.
Whoa. It's so easy that Symantec made a deepfake of me without much notice before our interview.
The amount of material that you need to create these things is 10 to 20 seconds of video and maybe a minute of audio.
This wouldn't even be happening.
This is something that takes about, not a lot of source material, but just imagine if you had hours and hours and hours of video at hand, we could create a really good likeness of you from different angles, saying different things.
So what's at stake for companies or individuals when seeing or hearing is no longer believing?
The fact that people can see something like this, believe that it's true, and collectively the markets can react to it are a huge concern for people.
The newest attack that we have seen, which people had not anticipated in some sense, is the use of the audio deepfakes to cause financial scams.
I would like to transfer $5,000 to Adam.
In the last few months, security firm Symantec says it's seen 3 attempted scams at companies involving audio deepfakes of top executives. In one case, the company lost $10 million after a phone call where a deepfake audio of the CEO requested a transfer of the money. The perpetrator still hasn't been caught.
Here's a station you might like.
It's no different than what you would see for what powers Alexa or some other products like that. And the CEO will answer whatever question you have because they can be created on the fly.
But deepfakes also offer profit opportunities to some companies.
You'd have an actor that would license their likeness, and then at a very low cost, the studio could produce all kinds of marketing materials with their likeness without having to go through the same level of production that they do today, And so I can imagine lots and lots of audio being produced using the voice of an actor, the voice of some other VIP, and all of that being monetized.
Just like we practiced. Ready?
Now Amazon is doing just that.
Today in Los Angeles, it's 85 degrees. Say my name. Woo-hoo.
It announced in September 2019 that Alexa devices can speak with the voice of celebrities like Samuel L. Jackson. On Instagram, AI-generated influencers like Little Michaela are backed by Silicon Valley money. The deepfake videos of these virtual influencers bring in millions of followers, which means a lot of potential revenue without having to pay talent to perform. And in China, a government-backed media outlet introduced a virtual news anchor who can work 24 hours a day.
I will work tirelessly to keep you informed as texts will be typed into my system, uninterrupted.
But the potential for misuse is high.
So one of the most insidious uses of deepfakes is in what we call revenge porn, or pornography that somebody puts out to get back at somebody who they believe wronged them. This also happens with celebrities, but certainly things like this that would ruin the reputation of a celebrity or somebody else in the public eye are going to be top of mind for these social media companies.
Also top of mind for social media companies, the 2020 elections.
Researchers expect that in the 2020 election, deepfakes will probably be deployed. Will it be deployed by a foreign nation looking to cause instability? That's possible, and that could be significant. In that case, you would have a candidate saying something totally outrageous.
I own one pair of underwear.
Or something that inflames the markets, or something that puts their chances of being elected in question. There is also a concern about faking words from leaders of countries, from leaders of organizations like the IMF, that would have a significant consequence, even if it was short-term, on markets and even on global stability in terms of conflict.
That he was engaged in a cover-up.
In May, House Speaker Nancy Pelosi accused Facebook of allowing disinformation to spread when the company refused to take down a manipulated video of her. In response, Facebook updated its content review policies, doubling down on its refusal to remove deepfakes. 2 British artists tested Facebook's resolve by posting a deepfake of CEO Mark Zuckerberg on Instagram.
Whoever controls the data controls the future.
Facebook held its ground, refusing to remove it, along with other deepfakes like those featuring Kim Kardashian and President Trump.
I pulled off the biggest heist of the century, and people just have no idea.
Now, there's a question, though, about whether misinformation, whether these deepfakes are actually just a completely different category of thing from normal kind of false statements overall. And I think that there's a very good case that they are.
Now, Facebook is trying to get ahead of deepfakes before they make it on its platforms. It's spending more than $10 million and partnering with Microsoft to launch a deepfake detection challenge at the end of the year. Facebook itself will create deepfakes with paid actors to be used in the challenge. Then, pre-screened participants will compete for financial prizes to create new open-source tools for detecting which videos are fake. Twitter told CNBC it challenges 8 to 10 million accounts per week for policy violations, which includes the use of Twitter to mislead others.
As a uniquely open service, Twitter enables the clarification of falsehoods in real time. We proactively enforce policies and use technology to halt the spread of content propagated through manipulated tactics.
And it recently acquired a London-based startup called Fabula AI, which has a patented AI system it calls geometric deep learning that uses algorithms to detect the spread of misinformation online. At YouTube, which is owned by Google, community guidelines prohibit deceptive practices, and videos are regularly removed for violating these guidelines. Google launched a program last year to advance detection of fake audio specifically, including its own automatic speaker verification spoof challenge, inviting researchers to submit countermeasures against fake speech. One small cybersecurity company has already launched an open source tool that's helping create algorithms to detect deepfakes.
The way our platform works is we're pulling in billions of pieces of content on a monthly basis, text, images, video, all kinds of stuff. And so in this case, as the video flows through our platform, we'll now route it through deepfake detection that says like deepfake, not deepfake. And if it is a deepfake, alert our customers.
Baltimore-based ZeroFox intends to be the first to have customers pay to be alerted of deepfakes. Meanwhile, academic institutions and the government are working on other solutions.
Another approach is to put a registry out there where people can register their authentic content, and then other people can check with the registry to see if that content is in fact authentic or not.
The Pentagon's research enterprise called Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency, or DARPA, is fighting deepfakes by first creating its own and then developing technology that can spot it.
The people who are defending us against deepfakes are using AI just as much as the people who are creating them are using AI. It's just that those who are creating deepfakes seem to have a running start on this.
I don't think that there's a silver bullet yet developed. The technology is really only 1 or 2 years old, and so we're in an early stage.
And at least until Facebook announced monetary prizes, the business potential on the detection side was small.
There's not really a market segment for deepfake protection that's mature yet, right? The tech is new, the threat landscape is, just beginning to emerge or whatever. So we're the first or amongst the first in terms of companies to develop and ship a technology around this.
One of the best things about the Facebook challenge is that it brings in a lot of people who probably weren't interested in this technology to try and work on it. And I think what we really need in the space with deepfakes is finding something that is novel, that we haven't thought of before, that works for detecting these.
Even if you can detect deepfakes, there is currently little legal recourse that can be taken to stop them.
And for the most part, they are legal to research and create at this point.
Can you do an impression of him?
It's gonna be great!
For the most part, if you're a public person, you really don't own the rights to your public appearances or even videos taken without your consent in public.
I genuinely love the process of manipulating people online for money.
There are some things that are unclear about the law, but for the most part, this also applies to just regular people who post videos of themselves on Facebook and YouTube.
But if your image is used in adult content, it's likely illegal in states like California, where revenge porn is punishable by up to 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine.
So a lot of porn websites, for example, have declared that they are not going to allow hosting of deepfake or uploading of deepfake-based porn.
You can call me Sam.
In China, a deepfake app that allowed users to graft their faces onto popular movie clips went viral. But it was shut down earlier this month over privacy concerns because the app retained the rights to users' images. In June, New York Congresswoman Yvette Clarke introduced the Deepfakes Accountability Act in the House. It would require creators to disclose when a video is altered or generated and allow victims to sue.
There's no way that a law like this will enforce a lawsuit against somebody who is sitting in a country in Eastern Europe, anywhere else across the globe that is already proven to be hostile to the U.S. when it comes to enforcing our laws around cybersecurity.
I don't like people passing off videos as real. My stuff's clearly set. I don't think anyone's mistaking my stuff for real.
Satirical deepfake creators like Dr. Fakenstein take ownership of their work and are even monetizing it. But that's different for those with malicious intent.
If you're intent on publishing a deepfake and not having it traced back to you, there are plenty of ways that you can remain anonymous.
For better or worse, deepfakes are only getting more refined. The challenge will be whether the technology to detect and prevent them can keep up.
I think that the people who are creating deepfakes for nefarious reasons are way ahead of us. I think that they have access to AI that is more advanced than what we have working on the solution side, and certainly access to more resources than we have so far given people to fight against the problem. Hopefully that will change with what's taking place now.
It may sound basic, but how we move forward in the age of information is going to be the difference between whether we survive or whether we become some kind of dystopia.
God bless you, your families, our children, and God bless the United States of America.
Wow, isn't that amazing? People using fake videos like that, Sonia?
It's unbelievable.
Absolutely incredible. Folks, we gotta be careful and watch out there for things like that that's going on. It's affecting celebrities and individuals as well, and there's even more where these celebrities are being hit with these types of fake videos. Check out this video, folks.
How did you first find out that there were deepfakes of you?
My husband actually told me. Because he is friends with Ashton Kutcher, and so he actually told him, like, oh, by the way, there are these things called deepfakes, and your wife is one of them.
Deepfakes use machine learning to fabricate events that never happened, like Bill Hader shapeshifting.
I said Seth Rogen was like, it was amazing. He has like a bike track in his backyard. It's phenomenal. and I did a Seth Rogen impression, and it was like I did a magic trick. Tom Cruise is like, yeah.
And there's growing concern that in the wrong hands, this technology can pose
a very real national security threat.
Could impact the 2020 election.
Could become a real and present danger to our democracy, Dana.
But the most pressing daily threat of deepfakes isn't politics. It's porn. People are hijacking women's faces to make porn videos they never consented to be in, which is why this kind of deepfake is harmful, even when people know it's not real.
I was just shocked because this is my face. It belongs to me.
In a September 2019 survey, researchers at DeepTrace found that of the deepfake videos they could identify online, 96% were pornographic.
And that more or less 100% of these videos are of women and are non-consensual.
Pornhub and other big porn streaming sites have policies banning deepfakes, though they don't seem to be enforcing them. Mostly, these videos show up on separate sites dedicated to this kind of abuse.
It's not just celebrities anymore. Not that celebrities feel any less pain from these videos, but the phenomenon is evolving at a rate where we are seeing deepfake pornography increasing in number and an increasing number of victims as well.
I was at work and I got an email on my phone. In fact, I can even bring up the email. 25th of May, 4:18 p.m. FYI, there is a deepfake video of you on some porn sites. It looks real. I remember sitting down, receiving that email, and I think it was like you're frozen for that moment of time. It was depicting me having sexual intercourse, and the title of the video had my full name. And then I saw another video that was depicting me performing oral sex.
Noelle is an Australian law graduate. She's not a celebrity. Someone took photos she shared on social media and first photoshopped them into nude images, then graduated to deepfake videos. What's happening in these videos is a specific kind of digital manipulation, and it's unlike older face-swapping filters you might have used. Those tools let you put your face into your friend's head, but you still controlled it, a sort of video Photoshop, transferring both your facial features and your expressions. But deepfakes can take the facial features alone and animate that face with the expressions of someone else.
Tom Cruise is like, yeah!
This is what makes deepfake porn videos so invasive. The creator takes away a victim's control of her own face and uses it for something she never wanted. Transferring just the mask of someone's facial features requires training a piece of software called an autoencoder on hundreds of images of the same face, from different angles and in different lighting with different expressions, until it learns what they all have in common. That volume of images has long been available of celebrities, but increasingly it exists of anyone.
If you're someone not even with a very intense social media presence, but just a presence online, you have a few pictures, maybe there's a video of you from, a party or something like this. You have so many training images to take from that. At the moment, you do still need a fair bit of data to make a convincing deepfake. But as the technology is improving, we're needing less data, and the tools are becoming increasingly accessible and user-friendly.
And there's a growing infrastructure for deepfakes.
It's not just about posting the videos, it's also about forums discussing how to make them, how to target certain individuals.
In fact, the term deepfake originated as the name of a subreddit for swapping celebrity faces onto porn stars. Reddit banned the page, but the conversation just moved to other sites.
So you have almost directories about, okay, you want to make a deepfake of a certain celebrity. Here are adult performers that will best suit that. There is a lot of money to be made from selling custom deepfakes.
Users pay for deepfakes of specific celebrities, or even women they know personally. And they discuss whether all of this is legal. Some think they can protect themselves by identifying the videos as fake, but that's not true. If you live in the US and someone makes porn with your face, you can sue the creator whether or not they've marked it as a deepfake. What is true is, it's very difficult to actually do that. You'd need to pay to bring a lawsuit with no certainty you'd be able to secure a punishment or even find the creator, let alone stop the video from spreading. Some people on these sites question the morality of what they're doing and disagree about how they'd feel if it happened to them. But it probably won't happen to them. That's the point. Taking a woman's face and putting it into this context is part of a long history of using sexual humiliation against women.
We're having this gigantic conversation about consent, and I don't consent, so that's why it's not okay. Even if it's labeled as this is not actually her, it's hard to think about that.
This is kind of probably one of the most difficult things, because fake porn and my name will be forever associated. My children, my future children, will have to see things. My future partner will have to see things. And that's what makes me sad.
Yeah, I wish that the internet were a little bit more responsible and a little bit kinder.
Sonia, isn't that video crazy?
Yes,
that's
unbelievable.
Absolutely unbelievable, folks. What people are doing now, taking a fake video and they're actually terrorizing individuals from it. You have to be very, very careful out there. So if you were to see any of this stuff, we need to let everybody know about this. And if more people are aware of it, we can do something about it. We can actually stop it if necessary, folks, because this is crazy. It has some good value far as the movie industry. They're really concerned about this as well. They're using it right now to do movies, right? It sounds really cool. But in the future, there's actually talk, Sonia, that the motion picture industry can use actors through AI and not have to have the real actor anymore. Right. And now the stunt industry, right? They're also a union organization. Right. They're like going, well, why do we need to have stunt doubles anymore? Because we can use AI and use the deep fake videos and create the whole scene without even having the actor be a part of it.
Right. That's unfortunate.
But there's also talk of people creating their own movies. Have you noticed some of the apps on the social media phones? You can use the apps to put your face in the movie.
Yes.
Yeah, so people are doing that. I have friends that are doing that, and they'll put it up on social media of themselves in a movie with their face in a video. It looks really cool now, folks, but think about it. You're using it for fun and animation, but in the future, you never know. That could be in another video that you didn't want to see. So definitely be careful.
Yeah.
Absolutely. But folks, we'll be back in our next segment to talk about things that you could do to protect yourself from these types of attacks. See you in a minute. Hi folks, this is Mac Jackson from Cybersecurity Awareness TV. I want to thank you for being part of our show and let me know that we provide content to you on a weekly basis on cyber tips and news that can protect you from the fastest growing crimes of the 21st century. But this is how you can participate. Become a member of our Patreon channel at patreon.com/Mac Jackson Jr. Hi folks, welcome back to Cybersecurity Awareness TV. In this segment, we're going to talk about tips and things you can do to protect yourselves from these type of cyber attacks. Boy, Sonia, it's been a crazy show today, huh?
Yeah.
Of all the things that people are trying to do to get your personal information, things that we could talk about right now, there's a couple of things we'd like to recommend. And one is multi-factor authentication, folks. Again, if your bank calls you, they're going to ask for multi-factor authentication. They will send you a code, and you have to make sure that it's them. If your bank calls you, I would suggest calling them back because you have their number. Because if you get a call from someone stating they're your bank, they may not be. And they may have some parts of your information. They may have your name, your address, parts of your social security number, maybe the last 4 digits, maybe the last 4 digits of one of your credit cards as a way to get you to think, oh, wow, this is credible. It still may not be. Call them back. You have their number. You have their information. Because, folks, like we always say on this show, and all the cybersecurity experts, including myself, we always say the bad guys only have to be right once.
Right.
We have to be right every time,
Yes.
right, to protect ourselves against these types of attacks. And the other one is passwords. We were talking about earlier about passwords and using password systems. Folks, make sure that your banking password is not the same as your password in Facebook, your social media. I know it's very difficult and hard to utilize that, but try to have a way that you have a separate password that's totally different than what you use for your social media. As a matter of fact, let's extend it. Let's not use a password. Let's use a passphrase.
Yes.
Something longer, information that you and your family can understand, something that's easy that your 5-year-old who's getting online versus your 80-year-old grandparent, so getting online as well, can understand how to get into the system. Those are just some of the things we use to protect yourselves. Anything you think of, Sam?
Yeah, I mean, I think when it comes to like being called by your bank or anyone that's trying to get information, is trust but verify. And I think you bring up a good point. Like always call the source and ask them questions. Like call their fraud department, because the experiences that I've had with it or have heard from friends is that they'll call you and say, okay, you just tried to use your card at this gas station. Well, of course, because that's where they got your information from.
Right.
So ask them for more. Like, what did I buy yesterday? What did I charge the week before? Because they won't have that access. But if you call your banking company or your credit card company, they are going to have that. I think also people do so much just link accounts, like access a new app by saying, use my credentials for Google or use my credentials for Facebook. Well, I learned that from you.
Yeah,
so,
good point.
And I don't know that that's always good to do because, they start to social engineer who you are.
Absolutely.
And then the passphrase was something that you taught me too. And I have multiple passphrases and it is something that I remember, but it's not, my favorite football team is this because that's easy to social engineer too. You want to make it something that is hard, and you do want to mix it up, like big letters, little letters, spaces,
special
characters, those things, because we do have to outsmart them a little bit, right? They're sitting in front of the computer just trying to hack and trying to hack and trying to hack. We're living our lives and just very rarely trying to protect.
Absolutely. That's a very good point, Sonia, you brought up. Let's throw in another one there, folks. How about Amazon? Have you gotten that phone call yet?
So
from Amazon account?
No, but I haven't. It's funny that you say this, but I haven't gotten it. But a lot of people around me. So I was thinking about it the other day, like it's going to come, it's going to come, it's going to come, because it has been going out saying something's wrong with your Amazon, or
something's wrong with your Amazon, or that there's been a charge on your account for the new iPhone 13 that they want to verify. Did you order this or not? Please give us a call or press 1 to talk to customer service. They get right. As soon as you press that 1 button, folks, what happens on their side? It that one signal validates their confirmation of the call. So it's like you're saying yes to personal information. So do not do that. If you get this call, hang up. The old-fashioned way.
Well, someone was telling me the other day, and I've been meaning to ask you that, even when they call, like, don't say things like yes, or don't say because they're recording your voice to use your voice back for.
Yes.
So you have to be very. They're using your voice back, so you have to be very. Again, I just use that trust but verify.
Trust but verify. Absolutely.
Who's calling? Where are you calling from? Why are you calling me? Like, if I start to ask a lot of questions, and I think that you can sort of sense their nervousness a little bit.
True.
In it.
Or their frustration because they can't get you.
Yes, that's the best.
Yes.
I go, I'm sorry, because that's what happened with us when someone said, hey, we think there's fraud on your Amex. You just use it as a gas station, which we had. And they had called my husband, and he was super frustrated. We were trying to get out of town for a camping trip, and I was like screaming, like, hang up, hang up, hang up. And when I told him, I said, that's a fraud call. And when he attempted then to the question of the guy got so mad.
Yes.
He was so frustrated. And I was like, this credit card company would not treat you that way. Hang
Absolutely.
up, call them. And they were like, sir, you're so happy you did this. They got a penny through at the gas station. They were waiting for you to authenticate, and then they would have just gone and gone and gone and gone.
They got a penny through. That's what we talk about in the show a lot. What they do is once they get your credit card number, they will try to sell it on a darknet. They'll try to test your card for a penny, and if it clears, then they'll know they can sell that information to a bad guy for upwards of $1,500 I've seen online that they're selling these things for.
Yeah,
So
when you talk about passwords regularly, you also introduced me to password keepers, right? And tools, right? There's RoboForm, there's LastPass, there's all sorts of ones. But one of the things that I've turned off for some of ours is the Google save password on your browser.
Definitely turn off the Google.
Yeah, and for my kids too, because they're getting of the age where they're using more apps or going through school apps or doing all these things, and it's just so easy to hack into some of that.
And now Google, you can connect it with other browsers. So if the kids are on their friend's house, and I'll say, oh, you want to use your Google
if you want
credentials?
To sync your credentials to this laptop.
You'll sync it to their laptop. Oh, now I have their passwords on another system.
Right, and I think that's the piece as a parent, like I'm always paying attention to, so all of their accounts are tied to me, so I get notification on my phone. So when this stuff starts happening, I just call it audible and like, wait, what are you doing? Well, I'm at a friend's house. I want to log on. That's great, but don't sync your account. You need to use this other method to do it, because I think people trust all of these different systems, but really trust a password protector or some vault that's going to keep it more secure.
Password management system.
Yes. And what I like about that, really, just one more thing, is that it does an audit every however many days.
Very true,
21 days, 36 days. So mine will say, hey, you haven't changed your password in this many days, or we did not, and we noticed you had a couple that were the same.
Yes, absolutely.
And so it's sort
duplicates.
of like, it's sort of managing me, because in my quickness, I'm like, oh yeah, let me look quick. I have to reset a password on this new app. Let me just use what I know versus going with something new, and I don't have time and I'm busy. So I like that my tool is telling me, hey, every 21 days, this is what we found wrong with the way that you're storing passwords or using passwords. So I find that valuable.
Yeah, so definitely, password management system is definitely valuable. I'm glad you found that. You realized that, Sonia, right?
Yes, definitely.
These tools, folks, we have to start utilizing them.
Right.
So if you like what you see, folks, on our show, please let us know, and you can contact us here at mjackson@mjcc.com, or you can contact me on my website at macjacksonjr.com. That's macjacksonjr.com. You can find us on all social media, from Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all of those. Folks, definitely find out information and get a hold of me. Sonia, we thank you for being my guest today.
Super fun.
Yeah, definitely. You have to have you back again.
Yes,
Let's
I know
talk
we didn't
about.
get to talk too much. I want to talk some more.
Yes, absolutely. Let's do this again.
Yes, for
Sonia
sure.
will definitely be my co-host.
Missed everyone.
And we'll be talking about this era of Cybersecurity Awareness TV. Until then, folks, we will see you then next time. And remember, folks, #stay cyberwoke.